land is a place we go before reincarnation. How do I know this? It was revealed to me from the other side, through my spirit guide, Viola, who in mortal terms was my grandmother before she died. She comes to me with a flowery scent that makes me say, whoa, stop, what's going on? Sometimes it's a warning, and sometimes there's an opportunity. At other times, she speaks to me in dreams, and then sometimes, on rare occasions, she gets right here and whispers right there in this ear. Now, I've always had the ability to talk with my spirit guide. I just didn't know about it until I reached my 50s. And I looked back and I said, when I heard this, that happened. When I sensed that, this happened. It was my spirit guide the whole time. And I've had 2 spirit guides in my life. The first one was Melvin, my uncle, who died in a terrible car accident a year before I was born. The second was my grandmother, Viola. When my grandmother was dying of cancer, I went and visited her in the hospital a couple times. But she didn't really recognize me. She called me Melvin. And my grandfather said, well, that's because you look like your uncle, which I didn't. And other family members said it was the cancer eating her brain, which it wasn't. I know today that she was the only one in that room that could see things the way they really were. For she saw Melvin in me, beside me, around me, but there, my spirit guide was there with me, and she saw him. The spirit guide that she would be replacing upon her death. For after she died, I no longer had Melvin. I guess he went to one of my cousins. I don't know. He was just waiting. You know, my mom was his favorite, was the baby and was his favorite sister. So maybe he felt like he had to be my spirit guide until my grandmother passed, till Viola passed, and she was there, and she's been there with me ever since. After she died, I started smelling this fragrance, this really pretty flowery fragrance. And when I smelled it, that was her. She was there. First time I smelled it was shortly after she died, and it was in the hallways of school. I never forget this. I'm walking down this hallway and I smell it. And I go, wow, there's no flowers here. And within a week, 2 of my friends would die. And in my vision, the last time I saw them alive was in that hallway, walking down right where I had smelled my grandmother's fragrance. And she was just telling me, look, this is the first time you're going to experience death. Don't worry about it. It's going to happen a lot, but they're going to a better place. I mean, they were young. They didn't have any wealth or fame. I'm sure they've already come back, probably, or they're visiting people, helping people, all those great things you get to do in spirit land if you're not cursed. Now, Viola has showed me so much over the years, and the most important thing she showed me is the curse of fame and fortune. She showed me that for the rich and famous, when they die, every time their image is shared, they feel shame. Anytime their money is split or draws interest or is handed over or circulated in any way, they feel shame. Anytime their image is shared, anytime their song is sung, anything out of idolatry, they feel shame. And they're up there in spirit land just feeling shame. But now those of us who didn't have all that curse of fame and wealth and greed, basically, we're free to roam. We're in spirit land. We can talk to our relatives back on earth. And get this, we can go back 250 generations, or we can go ahead 250 generations. That means in spirit land, if you really like it there, you can be a spirit guide for friends of your family, neighbors of your family, relatives, your great grandson. That's how it works. Now, this isn't new, you know. All the religious texts talk about it in one way or another. The ancient Veda text talks about this energy when we die. You know, this positive energy that eats the bad negative energy. That's basically the after reward. Before it can come back, it's got to get rid of all that negative energy. And of course, the Buddha text talks about karma retribution. You know, what you did in this lifetime, you're going to pay for in the next lifetime. Now, even the Christian Bible here in the West states that it is going to be more difficult for a rich person to get in heaven than a camel to go through the eye of a needle. In other words, it's impossible for a rich person to get in heaven. I mean, I don't know why they didn't just say it that way, but a camel will never, ever go through the eye of a pin, the top of a needle thread. Never. It's impossible. And why is that? That is because if you accumulate a lot of wealth in this life, and fame gets you wealth, as you know, but if you get all this wealth and you check out of here with it and just maybe leave it to your kids, but you don't do anything good with it, then you are cursed. That is the curse. But that is the wealthy curse. That's the 1% worth curse. That is the majority of these people we know today. That's their curse. Nobody wants to give up any money. And then especially with the church today, the modern church, which actually says God rewards you with wealth. You know, and it's got all these people running around here in the suburbs and gated communities, and they're all running around going, I am rich because God wants it that way, and you're poor because God doesn't like you. And they believe that. They believe it in their heart. That's why they can hold their head up high when they walk past a homeless person, because if he wouldn't be on drugs, God wouldn't be punishing him homeless. Just because I'm not on drugs, God's rewarding me with all this fame. It has nothing to do that my dad owned stock in Buick magazine or some shit. Buick magazine, you never heard of it? Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay, well, finally, so what will happen is that these people, when they die, the rich and famous who haven't, you know, the ones that are crying about us wanting, you know, a $15 minimum wage, the ones that don't want to give us a little bit of health insurance, they don't want to do anything for the less fortunate. You know, the ones I talk about, they've even gotten so bad, they live in gated communities, they want private highways through taxes, through tollways. They don't want to pay their taxes for your schools. They're rich, they're greedy, they're greedy, they're greedy, they're greedy, they're greedy. Can I say that again? They're greedy, 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 greedy. And they're going to pay for it in the next life. So don't worry. For me and you who have nothing, we are blessed. And when we get to the afterlife, we are still going to be able to visit this world through the spirit land. We're going to be spirit beings, beautiful, white light spirit beings. What are they going to be? They're going to be dark. They're going to be in that shame. Every time they look this way, they're going to be in shame. Every time their name is mentioned, it hurts. Every time their song is sung. Like I said, anytime we mention Rockefeller right now or DuPont or any of those people, that's the curse they get, because it's not out of enlightenment that they're mentioned. And they're going to be in this room, and the only people they'll be able to communicate with are the other DuPonts, the other dead rock stars, the other dead movie stars, the fame, the models, all those people that had it, everything they wanted, but didn't do anything with it, but what they wanted to do for themselves. That is the key. That was the key to our basic tribal villages. You know, when we had the little villages and there were maybe only 200 of us, and these people that were greedy stuck out, man. Boom, hey, that guy, look here, he's taking all the food and hiding in his tent. What would we do? We'd throw him out of town. Well, we don't do that anymore. What do we do now? We sit over there and we honor him and we say, wow, you are so great. Wow, we'd like to be just like you. And we sit there and we don't call them to do anything. But they're going to get it. They're going to get their just reward. Trust me. Now, just because they're rich and wealthy and famous and have money, that doesn't mean anything, because there's still time, because there are those who secretly will give away their fortune. And the one I'm thinking of is Chuck Finney. He saw the curse of his wealth and he gave it all away before he died secretly. He didn't come out and boast because get fame for saying, hey, I donated to this trust, or I'm leaving this money to the one-legged horse breeders. You know, no, they actually did it in secretly. Gave his fortune away. And he's now a spirit guide to one of his kids, probably, to one of their kids. Spirit guide to one of his good friends. That's how you get a spirit guide. That's how you give a spirit guide. And that's how you get the curse. So for those of you like me who aren't rich, famous, or good looking, or a model, I should say, hey, don't fret, man, because you're the blessed ones. And those of you out there, and you know who you are, you got all that money, man, you're sitting there, you're voting for Republican, QAnon, or whatever you're doing. You don't give a shit about anybody else but you and your shade of skin or whatever it is. Your time's coming. Enjoy it. Enjoy it here on this earth because this is all you got. Because after this, Spirit Land, that's ours. We own Spirit Land.